Alright, so I keep saying that if it's something odd, I'll film it. I'll let you guys know. So, a buddy of mine, this is his wheel, and two of these holes were jacked up. He took it over to a shop to have a new tire put on, and they needed to take off his rotor. So you got two 5-hole patterns, one on this side that holds on the rotor, one on the opposite side that holds on the drive sprocket. So when they were trying to take it off, two dissimilar metals, you don't use anti-seize in between them. You get, oh, what the heck is the name of it? Corrosion. I can't remember the specific. Galvanic corrosion between aluminum and steel. So they were both jammed in there. They didn't know what they were doing, so they tried to drill it, and they were drilling them sideways instead of straight down. So what I did was started out, drilled them straight, and both drilled straight. Well, then I needed to be able to clock them. So I made a jig. So to do that, what I did was I took the measurement of this inside hub. This is actually the register that the rotor holds onto. Like if you have a car tire, you'll hear people say, is it lug centered or is it hub centered? Well, his rotor is hub centered. It's centered on this little thing right here. Then the lugs, they keep it from twisting, right? But this is actually what centers it up. So what I did was I measured it and got that. Then I measured the outside. It's actually, you can see a line in there because it was, I cut it on one side and then had to flip it over on the other because my lathe is a 1024. It's a little dinky thing. So at any rate, then from that point, well, I got to find the center line of that bolt pattern. So what I did was I took a 3/8/16 bolt, cut the head off of it, turned it down to a point, and then filed a couple flats on it. You do that, screw that guy all the way in. You've basically created a, well, it's a transfer punch, but in this case, instead of calling it a transfer punch, it's a transfer screw, right? So just the point sticking out. So then I took this guy and just run him back and forth on there, and you'll scribe a line. So the first thing I did was I was like, okay, well, I'm going to walk a set of calipers around there. Oh, that's great, that's fine, that's dandy, you know, divide by 5, whatever. But then I realized, well, if I make one of these, right, and then I drill the hole out on my lathe, then what I can do is I can offset him, bolt him down, and hit him with a hammer. That will give me another point of reference. Well, 3 of the holes are good, only one of the holes is bad, so that's all I needed was just that secondary point. So from there, the next thing that I did, if I can get this out, was I made a bushing, drill bushing, because if I tried to drill through aluminum, what it's going to do is that aluminum is actually going to distort. I'm going to push it to the left, I'm going to push it to the right, it's not going to go straight. So let me sorry about that candid beard. So there's the bushing I made. Just a steel bushing, nothing fancy. So then what I did is I used 3/8/16 shoulder bolt and aligned it so that way it's over one of the holes that's jacked up. Come on. tightened him down. Then I took bushing, drilled him out for a keensert. Well, that side didn't want to fit, so the keensert, the outside diameter of the keensert is 1/2-13. This is a keensert. So you hear people, oh, I just used a helicoil. Well, a helicoil is just a helical coil that screws in, and you have to oversize it. Well, with this guy, because these holes are so boogered up, you couldn't put a helicoil in there. But you can put a keensert in there. So you drill the outside of it and tap it for a 1/2-13. Then you screw them in, and then these little points, they get driven in and they disrupt the threads and lock this guy in place, mechanical lock. And just as good as new, nice and tight, good fit. So drilled it with, bushing's gone forever. Drilled it for 1/2-13. Well, then I need something to line up that tap. Well, it's a 1/2-inch tap, so this hole is already drilled 1/2 inch for that shoulder bolt. So this guy, although it is a little tight, it is 1/2 inch. So then drilled down in there, or excuse me, tapped in there and tapped in there for 1/2-13. Then you can take your keensert, if I'm smart enough to not look through the camera. Keensert threads down in there. Then you can, well, I gotta screw it in a little bit more. I think I gotta clean those threads, but you get the idea. Now the last step that I have to do is these holes, threads are actually down in there, so I need to counterbore these so that way the threads will actually be down in there a bit. But that's pretty much it. Just knock those in. Bob's your uncle. Now all of a sudden you got threads in your hole that are square and lined up and good to go. 3/8-16. So that's something that you don't get to see all too often, so I figured I would share it. So thank you again for subscribing and looking at this stuff, and appreciate it. Have a good day. Bye.